One day, Quacker was thinking. That's right, thinking. What am I going to play? Nothing. I know, I'll play this instead. So you've always wanted to play as the world's greatest detective? Fictional, of course. Well, why not play Sherlock Holmes, the card game? There are many derivations of the Holmes myth out there. There are many derivations of card games, but this is a card game which merges the two. Sherlock Holmes, the Arthur Conan Doyle version, and a card game in which you play as the great man, or some of his other sidekicks, or some of his well-known enemies. Join us as we do a review. I'm going to do an unboxing now. This is a version I've played before, so obviously it's one that I've definitely perused many times. Now, just to point out, this is a very bog standard box, but obviously this image is very familiar to many players across the world, so I think that they've decided to stick with what sells best. You've got your instructions, and it is basically one here, two sides, but if I'm honest, it needs a little bit of work, and I think that you will be hard pushed not to have to review it a few times. This is your quick reference guide, which is quite useful, and once you know the game, well, it's very easy. Blank paper, and that's just to be able to note down scores, etc. To be fair, I also use it, like a lot of people, to note down particular cards and particular players, and then these are the cards themselves. So that is the box unboxed. Now join us as we do the review of Sherlock Holmes. So, Sherlock Holmes, the card game. Now, I'm going to admit something here. I've been a big fan of this game for many years. I think I had a copy when I was about 14, 15 I think, and I used to play it religiously. Then I kind of went through a period where I went to university, and then post-university where I stopped playing it, and then I've come back to it recently, and I absolutely love it. I think it's a great game with a lot of sophistication. If you're a Holmes fan, especially if the lexicon of Holmes, you will enjoy it. Not so much modern Holmes, it's far more about the Arthur Conan Doyle Holmes, and what I like about it is the fact that firstly it's the intertextuality of it, the fact that it does take from the text and then relates it back to the game here. So for instance, you have the images from the original punch drawings like that and like that, and then you've got your basically the villains, which I think are brilliant as well. And there is Warren, and then Clay, Red-Headed League, my personal favourite story, and then of course Moriarty, who the arch villain. I just like the fact that it's gone after, and I'll just show you Mycroft as well. He's one of the heroes of the piece, as well, as you all know if you have read Holmes. But I like the fact that that intertextuality is there, so they've gone back and they've looked at the sources, because I think that this is a game that's been designed and created by someone who genuinely has an affection for the work of Conan Doyle, and it does have a lot of notes, which if you look at the resources, especially if you look at the how to play and then the reference guide, it all figures back into it. It all feeds back into this idea of the kind of majesty and sort of myth of Holmes and the Holmes sort of Holmes ideals and Holmes ideology as such. And that also then goes through with a lot of the work as well within the cards themselves, which then goes to the mechanics itself. The game actually works really well. I think that it's a smooth enough process that when you're playing it, and I do say that you need 3 or 4 people to play it, although you can play in 2-player, although it's a bit stagnant. But it just works seamlessly for me personally, and probably because I've been playing for so long, it does do that. But this is the point I was going to make, is in the first season we played an Agatha Christie inspired game, and the problem I found that is that it was almost like a kind of person vomiting up the ideas of Christie, you know, because of her works, and going, well, this is all this Christie characters, you know, Tuppence and Terence and Poirot and Marple, and then all of these sort of bits of detritus from things that you would get in a Christie work. That's not the case here. What this has done is this has lovingly worked in the themes and certainly the systems within the play of Holmes, and certainly what Conan Doyle did, and then created a very sophisticated yet still powerfully mechanically coherent and cohesive game that is just a joy to play. And I just would recommend anyone that you have to play this game. And to be fair, I had pushed to get this game featured in this series, and finally it has done, and I think one of the major reasons is because, to be perfectly fair, we've had a few stinkers in the last 2 or 3. Then we had Wingspan, which is very good, apart from the single player version, which I was not a fan of. So now we're back and running with a great game. And if you are in coronavirus hell, and I think we're going to be there probably for another 2 weeks, this is a great game that you can order online from even Waitrose, I think, sell it, and you can play it, and it will pass the time. You'll be surprised how much you enjoy it. And the scoring, if you play over the course of a couple of days, say 2 or 3 games a day, let's say if you're doing 5, so it's 5 or 15 games, you can really sort of score and find out some great sort of powerful machinations of scoring, which is well worth looking at. Anyway, that was Sherlock Holmes, the card game. I'm Simon, and this is Game Club. Thank you again for watching.